One question I get from students a lot about copyright is if they're using a work that exists in the public domain, if they still have to cite it in their own work. So to answer that question, in this lecture, I'm going to go through these 3 terms which will help us understand what the answer is to that question. Oh, okay, I forgot about that animation. So 2 terms, plagiarism and copyright infringement. Both of these have to do with using existing media in an inappropriate way. You could call both of them stealing. But they're different, and one way of thinking about the difference between these 2 terms is that copyright infringement is about someone else, while plagiarism is about you. Let's look at some definitions. Plagiarism, starting on the right-hand side, is the act of falsely claiming that you made something that you didn't make. And this could be done overtly by lying about it, or it could be done by omission, by forgetting or not knowing that you need to have a citation or an attribution wherever you're using the work. Copyright infringement, on the other hand, occurs when you take work that belonged to someone else and you use it without their permission. If that work is copyrighted, meaning the owner has the right to use it, and you do not have the right to use it, it doesn't matter if you give an attribution, you are still in violation of the copyright. So let's look at some examples to understand this. If I show you this image and I say I made this, I did not, that's a lie. Or let's say I put it on my website and I don't provide a citation, that is plagiarism. I'm overtly, in the first case, and then by omission, saying that I made this when I didn't make it. It was actually by Laura Vink on Unsplash. Copyright infringement occurs when a person engages in unauthorized use of this image. So let's say I take this image and I put it on a tote bag and I sell it to all my friends. That's copyright infringement, except in this case, it is not. And I did this on purpose. I got this photo from Unsplash. Unsplash is a Creative Commons free-to-use image site. So all of the images on there are free to use, even commercially. So yes, that means I'm not in violation of the copyright of this image if I put it on a tote bag and try to sell it to my friends. So as I'm making this lecture, I'm thinking I'm going to use this image here that's not a copyright violation, and then I have to go find a logo that will for sure be a copyright violation, and I think NASA would be a great example of this. So I go and I get a NASA logo, and I discover that this NASA logo, along with other government logos, are actually in the public domain. Okay, so now I am on a rabbit hole, and things are starting to get questionable. So I go and I'm reading all of the NASA merchandising guidelines, and while yes, they are in the public domain, they are also strict. They are subject to some strict rules. I read through them all, and I think actually I'm still okay with this bag. However, it also says that if you're going to use the image, you have to ask them first. So I'm really glad this happened. I'm glad I got on this rabbit hole because it illustrates that none of this is black and white. None of this is easy to understand. There are gray areas everywhere, and in fact, there are lawyers that specialize just in copyright law. So, because this example fell apart, I had to go one step further and find a NASA logo that would for sure be under copyright. So I found this beautiful concept logo created by this Russian designer Max Laptev. And this is not a NASA logo. It's something that this designer created as a suggestion for what NASA could use as their logo. Definitely the rights belong to him. They do not belong in the public domain. So if I were to put this logo on a tote bag, I would for sure be in copyright violation for this logo. Okay, moving on. Given these definitions, let's answer our question. Do you have to cite something if it comes from the public domain? Yes, you do. While you probably will not be sued for copyright, I don't know about this NASA bag thing. I wouldn't make a large number of these NASA bags if I were you without asking permission from NASA. However, plagiarism is falsely claiming explicitly or by omission that you created something that you did not create. So, if you use a public domain image on your own work and you do not cite it, you do not say it belongs to someone else, then technically, yes, this is plagiarism. So yes, to avoid plagiarizing, you have to cite something if it comes from the public domain. Second question, are you in violation of copyright even if you attribute the source material? Yes, copyright law exists whether or not you attribute the work. This is a common misconception. For example, if you publish a YouTube video using a copyrighted song, even if you say, this artist, this author, this singer is the song, I do not own the rights, you're still in copyright violation because you do not have the rights to put that song up on the internet. Acknowledgement of the source material, creating that attribution, may be a consideration in a fair use determination, meaning if you get sued, but it will not protect against this claim of infringement. Fair use. Okay, what is this? So there's a rule that says that you can use work that is copyrighted under some specific conditions. 3 things, actually: commenting on, criticizing, or making a parody of that work. It must be for a limited and a transformative purpose. If you get sued, a judge looks at your case, and there are 4 factors that judges would consider. So if you're planning on using copyrighted material for some project, I would familiarize myself with these 4 factors. Number 1, the purpose of your work. 2, the nature of the copyrighted work, what material, what medium is it. 3, how much you took. And then 4, the effect on the potential market. Okay, though I cannot answer all of these questions in this one short lecture, I hope this has given you enough of an overview to understand these terms and start to understand what kind of a gray area copyright is in media and how you can start to navigate these very, very choppy waters.